See if you can make any sense of this, because it is one of the craziest stories in all of sports. All right, so back in 1973, Secretariat set the track record in all 3 Triple Crown races. So that's the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. And here we are 53 years later, and still nobody has touched them. There is a reason that people believe this is the case, and they've spent 50 years trying to actively prove it. I think this story is going to blow your mind. It really blew my mind. I'm Kate, and this is Fansplain Me. So starting with what he actually did. Okay, so the fastest Kentucky Derby ever run was run by him. He got 1:59 and change. He was the first horse to break 2 minutes. At Belmont, he won by 31 lengths in a time that still nobody has touched. And the Preakness was super interesting. The track's timer actually malfunctioned that day. So his official time was wrong for 39 years. But in 2012, Maryland's Racing Commission reviewed the broadcast footage frame by frame, and they corrected it to 1:53 flat. Well, he set that record in 1973. And it has not been broken. In 1969, something very interesting happened. He almost belonged to someone else, and this is what happened. There were 2 racing dynasties sharing the offspring of the great stallion Bold Ruler. And to settle who picks first, they did a coin flip. Classic. Ogden Phipps called tails. Well, it was tails. So he took his pick, a filly. Well, that filly never won a race. The consolation prize was a foal that hadn't been born yet. You guessed it, that foal is Secretariat. I think it's crazy that Secretariat was a consolation prize. Okay. Well, in 1989, that's when Secretariat passed. The vet performing the necropsy opened his chest, and it stopped him in his tracks. His words were, "We stood there in stunned silence. The heart was perfect. It was just this huge engine." A normal horse's heart weighs 8 or 9 pounds. Secretariat's was estimated at 22, nearly 3 times the size. It was perfectly healthy, but it was enormous. Years later, that same vet examined Sham, the rival that Secretariat beat by 31 lengths at Belmont. Well, Sham's heart weighed 18 pounds. So the second biggest heart anyone had ever seen. And it still wasn't close enough, though, to beat Secretariat. So there were 2 horses with freakishly large hearts in the same Kentucky Derby, but there's been nothing like it since. In the 90s, a woman named Mariana Hahn went looking for why. She did not have scientific training, but she was just kind of obsessed with it. So she found that Australian researchers had studied horse heart size decades earlier, and they had concluded that it traveled on the X chromosome. So this work just never caught on in North America for whatever reason. So she started tracing pedigrees herself. Her theory was that the big heart is X-linked, which means a stallion can only pass it to his daughters. It skips generations, hides in mares, and surfaces without warning. She traced it back to a mare born in 1837, and then to a stallion born in 1764. And here's the crazy part. Okay, Secretariat's mother was a daughter of a stallion named Prince Aquilo. The horse her theory names is the main carrier. Okay, Sham's mother was also a daughter of Prince Aquilo. Same grandfather, same side. Exactly the way that her theory said that it would travel. It has just never been proven. Nobody's ever isolated the gene, but breeders, they have been trying to kind of chase this large heart thing for 50 years anyway, buying mares off of pedigree charts. They've been scanning hearts by ultrasound before they buy. Well, she spent the rest of her life focused on this. At one point, she was finding herself like counting ribs on skeletons in museums, because she also noticed that some horses had 16 instead of 18. As for nothing like it ever again, this may be a measurement problem somewhat. Weighing a horse's heart takes a necropsy and somebody who bothers to have one, right? Sham's was only weighed because the vet had done Secretariats and went specifically looking. So the next one might already be out there. We just, haven't seen it. We haven't done the testing. But regardless of if there's been a horse with a massive heart, nobody's beat Secretariat's records anyway. What do you think about that? Fansplain me in the comments.